generations, many people have braved unforgiving elements to obtain what many here in the United States take for granted. A certain type of freedom, the freedom to try to achieve. Education, wealth, health, and fame are only some of the qualities that we as Americans label the American dream. What type of people would take such a risk? Poor, rich, religious, social-minded? The answers can be endless in this quest. In a report on Yahoo News, about 700 million people worldwide want to permanently relocate to another country other than their own. 38% of adults in sub-Saharan Africa, or about 165 million people, would leave for another country. The most popular destination being the United States, where about 25% of those polled stated they wanted to move. A close tie for second place was the United Kingdom, Canada, and France. What are some of the possible factors which evoke such longings of the American dream? Generally speaking, they are the ones of legend or fable. In our current era, nothing can be stronger for people than the message which is delivered by that of the media and literature. Immigration into the United States consists of all global constituents except one, the Native American. The Native American is one which even the United States government allows more leniency to than any other category of ethnicity or immigrant. For instance, the United States Army states that if one is either a citizen of Canada or the United States, as well as a Native American, all one has to do is prove tribal citizenry for acceptance for initial qualification within the United States Army. For those of a Native American ancestry, authors like Sherman Alexie lend a vivid portrayal of how the American dream was basically brought to them by the early settlers. For those who have a European background, authors like Henry Thoreau and films like The New World deliver a portrayal of what life was like for the early immigrants into the United States. For those of African descent, authors like Toni Morrison and Spike Lee deliver a solid punch of cultural awareness within each of their specialties of writing and directing. For those of a Spanish descent, authors such as Richard Rodriguez, coupled with films like Tortilla Soup, allow the viewers a glimpse into Spanish-American life from the Pacific coast to the Atlantic coast. And lastly, for those with an Asian background, writers like Maxine Hong Kingston and films like The Joy Luck Club allow all of us to see into a world that is sometimes impenetrable, even though they may be our neighbors. These past examples have allowed us to deconstruct the American dream, to take it apart and try to obtain a better glimpse into what each ethnicity does for their own relative reasons. The difficult task is to try and group these subcultures into the greater being we know as the American dream. Let's take these subjective views and group them together to try and provide some examples of what most people across the globe, not just Americans, consider success stories, and the reason why people try to immigrate here. Albert Einstein, born in Germany, became a professor at Princeton University. He was an active pacifist and famous for his work on the theory of relativity. Irving Berlin lived to the age of 101. Born in Russia, Berlin composed such songs as White Christmas, Easter Parade, and God Bless America. Joseph Pulitzer, born in Hungary, was a Civil War veteran for the Union. He became a publisher by age 25, raised money for the pedestal for the Statue of Liberty, and the journalistic award, the Pulitzer Prize, was named after him. Madeleine Albright, born in Czechoslovakia, graduate from Wellesley and Columbia Universities, she is the first female Secretary of State and permanent representative to the United Nations. Ong Lee, born in Taiwan, a screenwriter who was a classmate with Spike Lee at NYU, directed such films as The Hulk, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Brokeback Mountain. David Ho, born in Taiwan, graduated summa cum laude from Caltech. Dr. David Ho is director of the Aaron Diamond AIDS Research Center. He was chosen by Time magazine as its 1996 Man of the Year for his discoveries. Hakeem Olajuwon, born in Nigeria, led the University of Houston to 3 consecutive Final Four appearances in basketball. Nicknamed the Dream, he became an American citizen in 1993. Martina Navratilova, born in 1956, defected to the United States from Czechoslovakia. Navratilova is a former #1 women's tennis player and tennis icon who became a citizen in 1981. Some would state these people have lived a dream. Others would state that they are living or have lived the American dream. The very phrase brings to mind many different ideas for many different individuals. Answers.com states the traditional answer is an American ideal of a happy and successful life to which all may aspire. In the deepening gloom of the Depression, the American dream represented a reaffirmation of traditional American hopes. However, what could possibly be the current meaning? The same exact source from Answers.com cites one political reference, a phrase connoting hope for prosperity and happiness, symbolized particularly by having a house of one's own. Possibly applied at first to the hopes of immigrants, the phrase now applies to all except the very rich, and suggests a confident hope that one's children's economic and social condition will be better than one's own. Whichever theory one subscribes to, it is necessary to state that each interpretation is relative to one's condition, whether born abroad or born within legal statutes which constitutes a citizen of the United States.